may as well start it off well and easy. Obviously, being a shortlister, you've got a personal love for creative writing, everything to do with it. Where did that come from? How did that start for you?
I've just always been interested in creative writing.
That's like sort of a big question because I feel like it's been part of my whole life. I've just been reading since I was very young. I've been writing since I was very young.
It's pretty basic ever since I was a kid. Just love reading, and as anyone will tell you, the more you read, the more you want to write your own work.
I'd sort of discovered poetry at a very formative time in my tweens, and it became this obsession. I was really lucky where I had like a whole community behind me with it. So my grandma really loved poetry, and so she'd write me little poetry pieces. And so yeah, I think that's probably where the love stemmed from, was reading and then just the encouragement that I had.
Your piece that you got shortlisted for, wonderful work.
Cheers.
Do you want to have a bit of a talk about it?
I would love to.
Yeah, it's called Amber Lights.
My piece is a short story titled Incision. It's a piece called How to Make Fritters. It is fiction, although I pulled heaps of inspiration from my life.
Like a dating experience. Yeah, from not too long ago.
It is about a young couple who, as their relationship starts to fail, integrates knife play into their sexual practices. And it goes through sort of her growing up in the country, going to boarding school, and then going to university in the city, and sort of struggling with like who she is and who she feels like she's meant to be.
Kind of going over this story at a second day and unpacking other ideas and whatnot that kind of like led up to that moment. Almost those feelings of I guess like self-fulfilling prophecy, or I don't know. It's weird. You have to read it to kind of think about it.
Risk of being much too intimate on this interview. It is definitely something that interests me in an artistic way, and that can make for really interesting writing.
So, creative processes. What brings you to these spaces? I
think it's different for every story I write.
I'm really bad with trying to make myself write consistently over time, so I end up just kind of, sticking my head down, getting in my little like writer hole, and almost like getting myself worked up into that emotion again. You get
the quote is, "I hate writing, but I love having written," and I love having written. I love being able to produce a piece and hone it to its like best final form. I hate sitting down to write. Like, I think there's nothing worse.
If I feel miserable when I'm writing, that's because I'm trying to write something miserable.
Yeah, I think process is different for everyone, and I think there's no real standard, but I think that's what makes some stories really great and exceptional, is that everyone's process was so different. You can see that in the writing, which is really cool.
So you've been shortlisted for a competition. What's that like?
I'm shortlisted last year as well, and that was kind of a bit of a Hail Mary.
Between all that boring uni stuff to get this email saying, "Oh my God, you've been longlisted," and then, "Oh my God, you've been shortlisted," and here's all this really interesting responses that the judges had to your work. I don't know, it was just epic. It's something I've seen my whole time being at uni, and it was an experience I wanted to partake in, and it's really cool that I get to now.
It's validation mostly, that even if I'm not confident in my own writing 100% of the time, there's people out there who are able to see kind of that diamond in the rough, or where your piece shines, or that it's trying to do something different.
Being recognised by Alan and Unwin is amazing. The recognition with QUT as well, like, it's a great competition. I've been really enjoying it. I've been really enjoying getting to know the other people who are shortlisted as well, and hearing about what they've been writing. It's good competition.
That's amazing. So if there was any advice coming out of this, going into next year, if you're going to go for this again,
yes,
what would you give to yourself, to other people?
Focus on your best short story or your memoir piece, any kind of prose, and just believe in yourself with that.
Actually write. You must get through that initial sort of loathing of the process. Put everything in, let it sit, go on a walk, come back 2 weeks later, and turn it into the best thing. If you've got the story that you want to tell and you really believe in it, and you've really put in a lot of effort and skill into it, well then, submit it and try your best.